The Baltimore Orioles select Adley Rutschman, Casey Mize, Dansby Swanson,
Anthony Rendon, Tim Anderson, Michael Trout, Aaron Judge.
With the first selection, the Detroit Tigers select.
And welcome everyone to the MLB Draft presented by T-Mobile. Great music from my favorite band in the world right now, 21 Pilots. All 30 GMs probably agree with that. They're in their personal homes, video conferencing with their colleagues. They get set for an action-packed night. We're going to bring you all 29 first-round picks and then other selections in compensation round A. A total of 37 picks coming your way right here live on MLB Network. Inside Studio 21, it's Greg Amsing with my good friends, Harold Reynolds and our resident GM, Dan O'Dowd. This is just such an exciting night.
Cool night.
And earlier, if you didn't get a chance to catch the pre-draft show, Commissioner Manfred was going to have his opening comments in just a minute. He said it best. This is kind of like the opening day before opening day, isn't it? It's the beginning.
It really is. And even before the day started, I'm excited about the draft. But with the commissioner making a statement saying we will have baseball in 2020, kind of sets this whole thing to another level of excitement. And I know it's an exciting day for those draft players, but I know there's a lot of major league players going, we're going to play. I got to get ready.
That's another reason to celebrate, Dan.
It is. This is a great night for the families, too. We talk about the players a lot, but it takes a village to get these players to this point in time. Do you guys realize that it's less than this 37 kids tonight represent 5%, 5.5% of 1% of the total number of players that are eligible for this year's draft. So this is a very select group of kids.
Cream of the crop. We'll take a look at the top 10 picks in this 2020 draft. The Tigers have known they're the #1 team for a while. The Orioles will go second, then the Marlins, Royals, Blue Jays, Mariners, Pirates, Padres, Colorado at #9, and the Angels have the 10th pick. Once again, 37 total picks coming your way this evening. Dan, take us inside the room. I know it's a bit different, nothing you've really experienced video conferencing with your colleagues. When you were the GM of the Rockies, you had all your guys in one room. But what is the anticipation level like minutes before it gets started?
I use this line, it's a miserable joy, and let me try to explain it. Is that there's a grind to get to this point. I mean, it really is a grind to get to this point. It starts when the draft ends the previous year. And so you have this anticipation and you want the board to fall a certain way because you definitely have some players above other players that you covet to be part of your organization. And then it ends and it just stops. And that's the misery part of it. The joy of it is you're getting a chance to add another player to your family, to your organization. And there's a tremendous amount of excitement around that.
Names are attached to you. Right? Forever. I mean, I play this game with them all the time.
Yeah.
First round picks that you made, they just stick with the GM.
Sure, Steve. What I try to do is I took all the good ones and gave Billy Schmidt the scouting director all the bad ones. No, they are. I mean, you're ultimately, you're responsible for everything that goes on in your organization. So you really do live with these picks, and they ultimately determine the foundation. Whether you're a rebuilding club, which is your lifeblood, or a contending club, it's the only way to sustain success. They really, tonight represents your chance for success in the present and the future.
It's great for the clubs, but it's about the kids. Look, you've been playing your whole life, sitting there going, I'm going to be a Major League Baseball player. That's my dream. Tonight it starts. And now we've seen the trend in baseball. If you're in the first round, your odds of getting to the big leagues have just taken off another step further and a step closer to what you want to become. So this is the night you're never going to forget. It's going to be really special.
And again, in context, you know, there's just so many kids that want this to happen, and only 37 tonight get a chance to happen. And you know what? I do feel bad in a way because there's a lot of families tonight that had their hopes up that they would be selected tonight. And so there's a fallout to that, too. And for those families, I feel a sense of remorse.
But for those 37 families, for those 37 kids, after everything that happened, their seasons cut short. College careers come to an end. High school careers that never got a chance to finalize.
Yeah, but they're getting ready to take off.
The fact that they get something to smile about tonight, to me, I think is the headline attraction. I'm excited for all of them. We're excited to get this thing going. You guys ready?
Yes,
ready to go. Let's go.
All right, it's time to turn things over to Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred for his opening comments.
Good evening. On behalf of Major League Baseball, we welcome you to our 2020 draft. We appreciate that MLB Network, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes are bringing this year's draft to a wider audience. Throughout tonight's broadcast, we will be honoring some of the frontline heroes who are lifting up their fellow citizens during the pandemic. To all those who are finding ways to help in this time of need, you're an inspiration, and we thank you. As we continue to work towards safely resuming play, we congratulate the young players, their families, and their coaches on this important night. We look forward to members of this class one day joining the great players in the major leagues. For many reasons, these are unprecedented times in our country and also painful times. We share in the sadness and outrage that has resulted from the national tragedies that include the deaths of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and others. Tonight, I join our 30 club baseball operations officials as they recognize, on behalf of our entire industry, that systemic racism and inequality are devastating problems, that we can each do more to help, that baseball can do more as an institution, that Black Lives Matter, and that we are united for change. This moment is a call to action, to acknowledge the ills that exist, to show the solidarity with the Black community in its efforts to end racism and injustice. We want to utilize the platform afforded by our game to be not only allies, but active participants in social change. I now turn the 2020 draft to the Detroit Tigers, who have the first selection. Thank you.
And thank you, Commissioner. You know what? This is unprecedented, as you all know, and it just feels different. You know, I'm old enough, believe it or not, to have been around when Martin Luther King was assassinated in '68. I was 8 years old. And I remember the horrors and the cries of my mom and my grandmother and trying to understand it and figure it out. And as I got older, I saw Hank Aaron break Babe Ruth's record and still hear later all the cries that he had of people not wanting to see him cross that barrier from racist attacks. So for me to hear baseball do this and to hear the story behind Theo Epstein and Kenny Williams and the other general managers who got together to make this happen, it's very powerful. It just feels different. And I think the reason it feels so different to so many, I've had a ton of phone calls from friends, black, white, of different nationalities, races, everything, asking me to put it all in understanding and context. And I think the biggest reason it's hit us all so strong is there's not much going on in the world of sports or in the world, period, outside of what's going on because of the pandemic. You think about it. There's no LeBron hitting for 30 or Steph Curry with a nasty shot. There's no Mike Trout with a 3-homer game. It's been the conversation of George Floyd and all the other things going on with protests in the country. So it's made everybody stop, and it's grabbed attention. And that's why it feels different, and I'm confident and I feel good that things are going to change. The conversation, Greg, it had to start with this, and to see so many people in protests across the board, not just black, white, of all colors and nationalities, has been powerful.
Yeah.
You know, H, for me, this is about leadership. You know, every organization, every industry has a culture, either by design or by default. All people are carriers of that culture. Culture affects behavior, for me, more than anything else. And a leader's job, those 30 men that are holding up those signs, their job is to create a healthy culture. It starts there. It starts and ends with leadership.
Yeah. Can you imagine, did you ever think you'd see a professional organization have 30 general managers holding up a sign?
It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing
that
to
says
see.
Black Lives Matter.
Striving to make America's pastime look like America and continue that pursuit. It's a wonderful thing. As Commissioner Manfred said, the Detroit Tigers are on the clock as we are expecting Al Avila to make a historic decision. Who will be his #1 overall pick? The MLB Draft from our MLB Network studios in New Jersey really get running after this. Welcome back to the MLB Draft presented by T-Mobile. Take a look at the first overall picks in Tigers franchise history. Back in 1997, right-hander from Rice, Matt Anderson, the Owl. Casey Mize still in the system, and they're expecting him to lead their staff for years to come. He has got such a huge upside. The former Auburn Tiger taking #1 overall in 2018. So the Tigers are the team that we're talking about as we're moments away from finding out who they will take #1 overall. And Harold, it just makes a lot of sense to get that bat. You're going to talk after we get the breaking news. Commissioner Rob Manfred at the podium about to tell us who the Tigers are taking.
With the first pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the Detroit Tigers select Spencer Torkelson, a third baseman from Arizona State University. The Baltimore Orioles have the next pick.
Now, the big news here is that he's being named a third baseman. So he's the first third baseman to go #1 overall since Pat Burrell did it out of the University of Miami. Spencer Torkelson is the #1 pick in the 2020 MLB Draft. And his family enjoying a moment they'll never forget. Teammates in the room as well. This is a kid that went undrafted out of high school, folks. All he did was rake at Arizona State. In 2018, he posted one of the best offensive seasons by a freshman in NCAA history, broke Barry Bonds' single-season program record with 25 bombs, led his conference in homers again as a sophomore, off to a great start in 2020 before the lockdown. His career numbers are ridiculous, and that's why Harold is over by the skybox ready to break down the #1 pick, Harold.
Well, Greg, I'm going to tell you why he is the #1 pick, and it's more than just, is it third or first base? It is really about the power in this guy, what the guy can do at the plate. And then we'll figure out the rest as we dive through this. But here's a great look at Spencer Torkelson. He can turn on a ball inside. He's just continued to mature as a hitter. He can hit the ball the other way. But here's what stood out, and this might be what the Tigers are looking at. You see him run the bases here? He is very athletic. And no, you think about first base, you think about a guy stuck at the bag, except when it comes to Jeff Bagwell. He runs like Bagwell. But I love his pitch recognition. Watch how soon he picks up this ball. Freeze it right there. Look at this foot right here. Look at where the ball's at. He's already recognized that's a ball. He puts his foot down. He's already gave up on the pitch. I mean, sits here, reads it, and just says, I don't want that pitch. Spits on it immediately. That is great recognition. He's got tremendous eyes. I didn't check them, but I guarantee you the Tigers did. Now he can take the ball and shoot it the other way as well. These are the things that I think is why he has become such a great hitter, and he'll continue to be that way. But Jim Callis, third base, you flirted that idea out there. We'll talk about it here in a second, but I'm curious your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think he is athletic enough to give that a shot. And, you know, third base, I think, is a position you can work at. You know, it's a reaction position. You can get better. Wade Boggs got better. Robin Ventura got better. Ultimately, I don't think it matters a ton, even if he goes back to first, because his, you know, like you just broke down, Harold, the power, the hitting ability, the plate discipline, it's special. He's the best offensive prospect in the draft, probably since Mark Teixeira in 2001. I had longtime scouting director tell me he's the best offensive prospect he's ever scouted. I had other guys telling me they think, you know, as of right now, if Detroit wanted to put him in the lineup, he'd hit in the big leagues right now.
A lot of talk, Jim.
Jonathan, what do you think?
Go right ahead, Jonathan.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's why he ends up going 1-1. I don't think he'll go right to the big leagues, but it's not going to take him very long. And I love the idea of, you know, third base or left field. Let him play there first and show that he can't play there. He's taken a lot of ground balls at third. He's played left field. The bat is going to get him there in a hurry, and the Tigers will just have to figure out where the best place is. They know he can always go back to first base. He's really comfortable there. He's a good defender. But I'm looking forward to seeing that advanced bat and that plus power play in Detroit really, really soon.
He's an exciting player. He's the #1 pick in the 2020 draft. Dan, what do you think of this? Drafting him as a third baseman. Why not? He's not one of these first basemen with a big body that he's athletic. It looks like he can do it.
Why would you do that?
Do what?
Why would you put him at third base? I mean, you're taking the guy 1-1 because of what?
He can hit.
He can hit.
He can rake.
And if he rakes, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't he have
doesn't matter
extra
right.
value if he could play third base?
No, I'm going to put him to wherever his bat will be most comfortable because I want his bat to be maximized.
You don't want him concentrating on learning the other position.
I don't want him. I just want him to rake. He's already comfortable playing first base. These guys have already dropped on a plus defender. If I'm taking a guy 1-1 as a bat, And he is a first baseman / third baseman. I'm not.
But isn't this a conversation they had with him?
But I think the conversation
The only way this is
wasn't-
happening is that he wants to do it.
Greg, I don't
You
know.
asked me my opinion. You didn't ask me.
But I'm also asking you for another opinion. Don't you think this is a conversation they had with the kid before they made this announcement?
Probably, but I mean, that kid, the type of competitor he is, he's not going to tell him no.
Oh, he would do it, but I think the conversation wasn't with him, but it was with Miguel Cabrera. And it was like, Miggy, we're going to draft a kid at first base. No, you're not.
Come on.
He's got how much left on his contract?
3 years.
Miggy's been DHing a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, to me, when you want to maximize a player's bat, other than the defensive part of being a catcher, you play him at the position he's most comfortable at because you are paying for his ability to hit.
Let's bring it back to this real quick. Regardless of where they play him, the bat is going to carry.
Yes.
And so that's what's impressive.
It's exciting.
And that's why he's an
I'm excited about it.
It's
This
a
is
great
part of
pick.
it. Which position are they being drafted at?
Yeah.
Time to find out who the Orioles are taking at number 2. Back to the podium we go.
With the second pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the Baltimore Orioles select Heston Kjerstad, an outfielder from the University of Arkansas. The Miami Marlins have the next pick.
Wow, this is surprising. No knock on Heston Kjerstad. If you want left-handed power, the O's drafted the right guy. MLB.com says he has the best left-handed power in this draft, second best power overall behind Spencer Torkelson. Kjerstad dominated his 3 years at Arkansas, hit .343, 37 bombs, OPS over 1,000, 150 career games, helped lead the Razorbacks to back-to-back College World Series appearances. One of the standouts with Team USA last summer, hitting just under 400. And he is going number 2 overall to the Orioles. Heston Kjerstad, I wonder what it looked like when you found out. Here we go. Family is fired up.
The dogs.
We're with the luxury of being joined tonight by Tim Corbin, the head coach at Vanderbilt, who competed in this conference against Heston Kjerstad. You were telling us so much about him. You love the player. You kind of built it up to where now this is surprising. Number 2 overall. Your thoughts on the pick?
Well, I don't think it's so surprising. And first of all, congratulations to the Kjerstad family and Dave Van Horn in Arkansas. But my first thought is that warehouse in right field in Baltimore is in trouble. They better cover up their windows because this kid has a lot of power. He can hit. He's hit since his freshman year. And I think if you ask Dave Van Horn, he would tell you that's one of the best hitters to ever come through Arkansas. But this kid's gifted. We talked in the pre-draft show about his mind, and there's a lot of emotional stability with this kid, and it allows him to make adjustments. I do not think he has a complicated swing. There's a little bit of waggle to his hands in the preparation to hit, but if you look at him, he stays centered. There's some bat layback, and there's a lot of strength in his hands, and he has some bat speed as well. But I think this kid's going to play left field, right field, play in the big leagues for a long time, hit for some average, and he's certainly going to hit some home runs.
You know, to me, guys, he got some similarities in the Helton swing. I mean, it's got that kind of finish for me. I dropped the Kyle Schwarber on him. I wish I could change that right now. I might put a 60 bat, 60 power. And this is an impact bat. And the thing that I really like about this kid, he started making adjustments, cutting down his strikeouts before the season stopped. He's going to continue to get better and better and better. I love this pick. I'm really in on this player. So, I mean, I think they're getting an impact player.
Again, not a knock on the player. He's a super talented kid, but the names that we were hearing to go at number 2 is a
Just
possibility.
don't get fooled on the names sometimes.
MLB.com, their mock had him number 10, 10th best overall. So again, Spencer Torkelson, a third baseman, drafted number 1 overall by the Detroit Tigers. And yes, Heston Kjerstad, coming out of University of Arkansas, putting on his Baltimore Oriole cap. He looks good in it. The MLB Draft rolls on live on MLB Network after this.
The 2020 MLB Draft is presented by T-Mobile. With the only nationwide 5G network, MLB clubs and their draft picks are covered with 5G in more places. T-Mobile for Business is ready to power business of all sizes.
The 2020 MLB Draft Cam is presented by T-Mobile for Business, connecting MLB clubs and their draft picks with T-Mobile's most powerful signal ever. Let's check in on Marlins GM Dan Hill. Mike Hill is sitting there checking things out. Mike Hill on the phone right now as we're getting closer and closer to finding out who the Marlins are selecting with the 3rd overall pick in the 2020 draft. Back to the podium we go.
With the 3rd pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the Miami Marlins select Max Meyer, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Minnesota. The Kansas City Royals have the next pick.
Wow, okay, Max Meyer goes 3rd overall. This ties the highest draft spot by a Minnesota Golden Gopher since Paul Molitor went 3rd overall in 1977. This guy's got some of the best pure stuff of any pitcher in this draft. He's a 6-foot right-hander, touches triple digits. Now, he tied a school record with 16 saves as a freshman, moved into the rotation as a sophomore, continued missing bats, but we're not missing the reaction. Cousin Luke was the first to stand. He was the first to stand, and there you see Max Meyer celebrating a huge night. Drafted 3rd overall by the Miami Marlins. Has the cap on, and wow, expect the unexpected. Congratulations to him. Al Leiter standing by in Studio 42. The first pitcher selected is Max Meyer. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, I think, I was buying in on certainly Lacy and the discussion there, but not that far down with Max Meyer. And I love it. I love the fact that the Marlins took a guy that the prototypical, what they look for. Everybody likes a big pitcher, 6'4", 6'5"-ish. Max Meyer's 6 feet tall, and there's absolutely zero wrong with that because the dynamic delivery is so athletic. But you got to mention, okay, 6 foot, what comes out of his arm? 97, 98, 99 miles an hour. And I thought about a few of the big league guys. Marcus Stroman's much shorter than that, but you got Timmy Lincecum, guys that have been sick. Sonny Gray, Coach Corbin's guy, Timmy Hudson. I had to include guys, David Cohn. You're talking about you eliminate some Pedro Martinez. Are we talking about guys with great stuff that aren't 6'5"? But look at this right here. This doesn't lie, folks. This is a dynamic, electric arm. This is an alpha male type guy. This is the slider that everybody's talking about when they watch him. It is that elite. Fastball plus to upwards of close to 100 miles an hour. That slider. Yes, I want to do a little young Zach Greinke. I know they're both wearing 23. Not exact. I like the lower half of what Max does. He really uses his lower half. He was a 3-time hockey letterman, so he does have that tough thing. He developed a 3rd pitch, his changeup. Once that gets in the mix, who knows how the Marlins are going to use him. But this guy with those 2 pitches, he is big league ready with respect to elite arm. And I don't care if he's 6 foot. Yeah. This guy can throw the baseball.
Yeah, his stuff is huge. Al Leiter, thank you. Jim Callis, what do you make of this? Explain this to me. Mike Hill with a surprise, Max Meyer, all the way up to number 3.
Yeah, I mean, he went a little higher than expected. I think we're all having rough starts to our mocks after Torkelson at 1. But like Al just said, there's nothing wrong with his stuff. You could argue it's the best stuff in the draft. I think that slider is the best individual pitch in the draft. Al showed you the fastball up to 99. I have no questions about him being a starter either. He's not the biggest guy like Al pointed out, but he's athletic. This guy was a 2-way player, big hockey player as well. He's athletic. He repeats the delivery well. He throws strikes. He overpowers guys. So I think we all thought Asa Lacy would be the first pitcher off the board, and we thought that Miami might go Austin Martin if he was still on the table. There's nothing wrong with taking what might be the best arm in the whole draft.
Yeah, I mean, when you touch 99 miles an hour, why not? And you have show hair like that. Max Meyer, 6 feet tall, but he's the 3rd overall selection in the 2020 MLB Draft. Up next, who will Dayton Moore pick? The Kansas City Royals have the 4th selection. Back to the podium.
With the 4th pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the Kansas City Royals select Asa Lacy, a left-handed pitcher from Texas A&M University. The Toronto Blue Jays have the next pick.
The top left-handed pitcher off the board, Asa the Ace Lacy. He's the highest draft pick in Texas A&M history. Destined to be an Aggie. He grew up in Texas, attended a bunch of their football and baseball games. High school coach, also played baseball at A&M for 4 years. Breakout season was his sophomore year. 2.13 ERA. He ranked in the top 10 in Division I baseball on opponent's average and K per 9. Off to an unbelievable start in 2020. He struck out 46 batters in 24 innings. Gave up 2 runs on just 9 hits. He struck out 13 in his last outing against New Mexico, 7 no-hit innings. So Al, you were singing this kid's praises, and what was the separator for him? What was the one thing did he add something that turned him out to be the ace he was at A&M and now the 4th overall pick?
I think it elevated him to get to this status. He's a big guy, unlike what Max Meyer at 6 foot. This guy being 6'4" or better, he's developed and grown since he's been at Texas A&M. But it's the slider, Greg. He's improved. Listen, for a guy that's thrown with exceptional velocity as he's come up, he's been up to 97 miles an hour. I like big body guys that use their body. If you look here, he gets really the big muscles involved, gets a great finish, therefore a nice north-south. I did think of James Paxton, but I'm showing this in particular because of his stride length. A lot of the metrics now with respect to extension, well, the perceived velocity, 6'9" is unusually long. Therefore, the hitter doesn't see it as much, so he actually gains a mile on perceived velocity. But here, Nick Gonzales will go off the board here shortly. This was an at-bat earlier this year, 97. He goes some high cheese up there, 96 check swing, really exceptional stuff. And again, I like the body usage. He's got the changeup. This was his pitch, fastball change as he got to Texas A&M. But this is a separator. Has a curveball as well, but this is an 87-mile-an-hour breaking ball. So if you look at what he's able to do with Lacy with respect to 94 to 97, he's got a plus fastball, clearly good changeup. So he's got 2 different directions. I see why you would draft this guy, and clearly this guy's going to have a quick ascent to the big leagues. 5 of the Royals' last 6 first-round picks have been college pitchers, so they're stockpiling arms. Asa Lacy is the next off the board. He went 4th overall. Tim Corbin, Vandy's head coach, has been with us throughout the night. And Tim, you saw this guy up close. What are the Royals getting in the southpaw?
This is one of the best left-handed pitchers we've had in the SEC in the 18 years that I've been there, and we've had several, but this kid's a puncher. He's coming after you. He's very durable, as Al said, and Al's a good comp to this kid. It's a heavy fastball. It plays well up in the zone. The breaking ball is very much improved. If you talk to Rob Childress, his coach, he would tell you his fingers were behind the ball more, and he was getting good spin, horizontal, and depth to that pitch. But the other pitch is the changeup, and you know, looking at it from our vantage point, the change and the fastball, they match up pretty well. There's a tunneling effect to that changeup that's very effective. But I think with the size, the durability, and the mindset, I mean, this kid is very, very aggressive. He's a winning kid.
Yeah, and I love the comp to Al Leiter. That actually plays. I remember watching Al Leiter pitch in the big leagues. It looks a lot like those mechanics. Well done, Tim. Yeah. Jim Callis, I'm looking at the farm system for the Royals. Obviously, last year's pick, Bobby Witt Jr., he's their top prospect. Then you got Brady Singer, Daniel Lynch, Jackson Kowar. You're adding Lacy. The Royals have an MO now. They're stockpiling arms.
Yeah, they do. They used 3 first-round picks on college pitchers 2 years ago. Now they get Asa Lacy here at number 4. You know, best lefty in the draft. You know, second everything everybody else said. Very, very interesting pick, and adds to that stockpile of arms. Royals rebuilding project looks like it's coming along pretty nicely.
Yeah, it's to see a Lacy go off the board here at number 4 is not surprising, but we did see a surprise at number 2. Heston Kjerstad, so much speculation that Austin Martin would go number 2 possibly from Vanderbilt. Instead, it was Kjerstad going number 2 overall. Now, Spencer Torkelson went number 1 overall. He tops the board as a third baseman, and the number 1 pick joins us now live on MLB Network. Spencer, congratulations. We all were expecting to hear your name, but to hear it as a third baseman. Walk us through what that means to you.
It means the world to me. You know, to be the number 1 pick, it's such an accomplishment for not only me, but my family, all my coaches growing up, all my teammates, you know, everyone contributed to this moment right here. And then to be as a third baseman, you know, it shows the amount of, you know, respect they have for me as an athlete. And I'll take it and run with it because, you know, I like to live myself as a baseball player. And, you know, you give me a bat, a ball, and a glove, and, you know, I'm just going to want to win. So that's it.
Hey, Spencer, it's Harold here. I was so impressed watching, when you're talking about athleticism, watching you run. And I'd heard about you when you first got to Arizona State. Actually, were playing second and third, and because of the stockpile, you moved to first base. So give us a little background on how much you've actually played other positions in the infield.
I mean, you saw the video earlier. You saw me locking down short, as a 12-year-old. And then that lasted until about 14, 15.
I'll bring it back for you right here.
A little bit second. Oh, God. But, yeah, so I've always felt comfortable anywhere on the field. I just want to win. So whatever it takes to do that and help the team, I'm all about it.
Detroit Tiger fans are so excited about you. They're watching this right now. What would you like to say to that fan base?
Go Tigers, baby.
You can't go wrong by saying that. The number one pick in the 2020 draft, Spencer Torkelson. Congratulations on a great college career and all of your success tonight. Well done.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, there you have him, Spencer Torkelson. And I liked hearing I loved his reaction. It means the world to me. They believe in my athleticism.
Well, the biggest thing was when he went to Arizona State, I wanted to hear him talk a little bit more. But when he went there, they were stockpiled at the other position, so they moved him to first base. So anytime, everybody takes pride in not having to be that first baseman.
Yeah.
You can play other places. I just think with the power, he's going to give you 40 home runs. It doesn't really matter where
I love how he's going to give you 40 home runs. I mean, that's what he's projecting to do. Yeah. That's how special of a bat Spencer Torkelson is. The next pick is in. Let's find out who the Jays are taking right now. Back to the podium.
With the 5th pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the Toronto Blue Jays select Austin Martin, a shortstop from Vanderbilt University.
Hi, my name is Jeff Cortazzo, and I'm an emergency medicine physician with CHI Franciscan at St. Francis Hospital. My job is to make sure every emergency department patient gets the care they need safely and quickly. My team, the Seattle Mariners, are on the clock.
Austin Martin, 5th overall to the Blue Jays. Best pure hitter in this 2020 draft class, according to MLB.com. This is the reaction. A moment he's been waiting for his whole life. Shortstop selected by the Blue Jays, and that is an organization that has plenty of position player talent already in the big leagues, already very young. They're going to add Austin Martin, who I'm sure they didn't expect to have the opportunity. They did not expect that Austin Martin would be sitting there to go number 5, but the Blue Jays take him, and Tim Corbin's with us. And Tim, how proud are you right now to see your guy go number 5?
I'm just happy for him, really happy for him, and being exposed to his growth and the time that he was here. There's so many people that are involved in his development here at Vanderbilt, and even before he got to Vanderbilt. But at the root of it, just happy for him and happy for his family, and glad he's getting the opportunity to move forward with another person from Vanderbilt that's in the Toronto Blue Jays system with Gil Kim. So I'm happy for all those guys.
You've talked about his defensive versatility, what he can bring to the team offensively, but you actually did a breakdown tape where he didn't take the bat off of his shoulder to show us another aspect of his skill level. Explain this for us.
Yeah, well, I'm just showing his elite recognition and decision-making skills, and there's just 4 takes, but really this is the priority system to hitting more than anything else. And you can see a 2-0 take, you're going to see an 0-0 take, and followed by another 0-0 take and an 0-2 take. But really what you're looking at is the simplicity and his ability to control the adrenaline in his body so that he can keep his front side in and see the ball for a long period of time. And I think for young hitters, when you look at a guy like Austin, he tracks the ball all the way back to the back side of the plate. So there's a tracking mechanism to him. But his body language also shows you that he's on go every time, but yet he can stop himself because he's controlled. And if you comp him to another first-round hitter in Anthony Rendon out of Rice, they've got similar operating systems in the fact that they really get their belly button low. And you can see how Austin brings his eyes closer to the zone so he can see the ball. And that's so important. Good hitters have the ability to really impact the ball, but great hitters impact the ball and control the hitting zone. Not the strike zone, but the hitting zone. And Austin's been so good at that.
You know, guys, I can't add a whole lot. To me, the young man competes with his eyes and trusts his hands. His hands are absolutely lethal. He allows the ball to travel on him. Hey, I comped him to Mookie Betts. For me, the Blue Jays got the best player in the draft at 5. For me, he was the #1 player in the draft. I like him in center field. I have no doubt he can play the infield. I think his athleticism really will show in center field. I think there's more power in there than people think, but they just got themselves a guy that can beat you multi-dimensional ways.
And that's what
shortstop caught my attention.
Well, look, the Blue Jays clearly valued him as the best player. And when he falls in your lap, you figure it out. Is it going to be Bichette at short? Is this guy going to play short? Can he play third, second? You get the versatility. You take the player. We all don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And you just keep moving on. You figure it out. You got the best player, and you take it. In their eyes, they got the player.
Look at their infielders for years to come. You got Guerrero, you got Bichette, you got Biggio, Austin Martin now in that mix for the Toronto Blue Jays. And I think he's happy about it. Yeah. His family and friends surrounding him with love on a night he went 5th overall to the Toronto Blue Jays. Congratulations to him. And on the left there is Max Meyer as a little hockey player. And on the right side, this is him as a little guy on the mound grabbing his teammate by the uni. There's a reason this guy went 3rd overall to the Marlins.
Catch that ground.
Oh, Max Meyer moments ago when he found out he was number 3 in the MLB Draft, which is back after this. Welcome back to the MLB Draft, presented by T-Mobile, right here on MLB Network. A look at the first 5 picks. Spencer Torkelson as a third baseman to the Tigers. The Orioles take outfielder Heston Kjerstad, best left-handed power in the draft. Max Meyer touches 100 miles an hour despite being just 6 feet tall. The Marlins have their future ace. Asa Lacy, nicknamed Ace, to the Royals. Big left-hander. And Austin Martin, who Dan O'Dowd says is the best player in the draft, going to the Toronto Blue Jays. So Jerry DiPoto's up next. The Seattle Mariners looking to hit a home run here with a top prospect. Who will they add to their farm system? The pick is officially in, and Commissioner Rob Manfred's about to tell us right now as we go to the podium on MLB Network.
With the 6th pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the Seattle Mariners select Emerson Hancock, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Georgia. The Pittsburgh Pirates have the next pick.
Well, there are a lot of reasons why everyone has Emerson Hancock ranked as the top right-handed pitcher in this draft class. After struggling as a freshman, the 6'4" Hancock had a dominant sophomore season. He went 8-3, 199 earning, 97 punch-outs, and a team-high 90 in the 3rd innings. He dealt with a lat injury that slowed him down towards the end of the season, but he returned fully healthy in 2020. 24 innings this spring. He struck out 34, walked only 3. Fastball sits mid-90s. He's reached 99 miles an hour. I don't need to tell you that. Al Leiter can tell you that. He's probably got a breakdown tape of him. You were talking about him in the pre-draft show. You love this kid. Why?
I do. He's a 4-pitch mix. You just mentioned he's been up to 99. He's really 94, 97. I think Jerry DiPoto, he's been historically picking college guys, along with Scott Hunter. Nice pick. Let's go to the breakdown. Listen, I mean, the very reason what you look for, SEC, big guy, right-hander. I thought about, back in the day, Chris Benson with Clemson. He was number 1 overall in 1996 with Pittsburgh. The body just resembled it. But just take a look here. This is what he is. And what I like about it is the unpredictability. It's smooth, it's easy, it's electric. It comes out of his hat, and you see the 96s, 97s. So why wouldn't you like that? But check this out. 1-0 changeups. It's common. He likes it, and he throws it. You see good tilt, 85, 86 miles an hour. This slider is really, really good. The fastball slider changeup combo. But if you just follow the glove, this is what you look for. Are there things you could work out with delivery? Perhaps. Maybe get a little tilt, maybe get a little high-low on it. But I love the fact that you have a college guy that's been successful in a tough conference like the SEC, a 4-pitch mix. He uses all 4. His curveball's probably maybe just a slower slider. But the complete package, this is what it looks like. And the Mariners, you talk about a system, he could rush through the system quickly and be in the big leagues not too soon.
Yeah, I heard comps to Casey Mize, but Benson, that's a throwback comp.
I thought
really
his body,
good.
Greg.
Yeah, I love it. No, it's really good. When you look at all the mock drafts, things have been surprising. Our draft gurus love their mocks, and Carlos Collazo actually nailed this one. You saw him going 6th overall to the Mariners. Did Hancock and the Mariners why was it such a good fit?
Yeah, we're just crushing the mock today. No, this is only the 2nd one we've got, but we did hear a lot of ties to college pitching with the Mariners, and I do think Emerson Hancock fits on talent in this range. We had him as the top-ranked right-handed pitcher in the class, and I think, like you guys have already talked about, he just has a lot of traits that you like with a starting pitcher. He's got 4-pitch mix. He's got really good fastball command. I think his fastball command specifically is some of the best in this class. There are a few questions about kind of the slot. Does he get a little bit too low at times? Does that change how the slider or the changeup plays? But I do think all those pitches are plus potential pitches, and the track record speaks for itself.
All right, so the Mariners got a good one in Emerson Hancock, the college arm. We're big fans of him. We're moments away from the Pirates making the pick at number 7 overall, and this is Ben Cherington's first-round pick with his new squad. That's probably a little extra exciting, right?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Again, it's going to be his pick, and it's his group, and I'm sure he's very excited. We just broke a record, though, for the number of college players taken at the top of the first round in a row. Start a draft.
Wow.
There's a trend here.
I like that you pick up on it. He's got his finger on the pulse. So, once again, the Pirates are up next. Let's go to the podium to find out who they're taking here in the first round.
With the 7th pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the Pittsburgh Pirates select Nick Gonzales, a shortstop from New Mexico State University. The San Diego Padres have the next pick.
Well, if you like video game numbers, you're going to love this guy. Nick Gonzales, despite hitting over 600, a high school senior in Arizona, he was not heavily recruited. He landed at New Mexico State, where he hit .347 as a freshman, .432 as a sophomore, .448 as a junior. Career average just under 400, OPS over 1,200 in his 3 college seasons. Gonzales led all Division I with 12 home runs in 16 games this spring, and it led to this moment with his family and friends, where he was drafted as a shortstop by the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is a team whose top prospect is a right-hander, Mitch Keller. Might not be the case much longer. Nick Gonzales to the Pirates. Harold, you've been a big fan of him. You've been talking about him leading up to the draft.
I love this kid. I think he was the best player in college baseball. The numbers spoke for themselves, but very impressive. Let's go to the board and check him out. The thing I like about him, I think he's got a swing that's ready to go and continue to advance and not have problems. But how about this weekend? 5 home runs in 2 games in a doubleheader. Now, I know he played in New Mexico, and they put so much weight on 27 at-bats in Cape Cod, 27 games up there. He played great in the Cape, and everybody looked at it. But look at the socks. He's got the Aaron Judge socks on. Aaron even called him after the game and said, hey, you got it going on. But he's got the Superman curl, Greg, which you like. But I want to show you from a baseball standpoint why I think this guy's going to hit and hit early. He hits every pitch in the quadrant. Look where those things stay. He can reach a ball in, out, up, down, everything. A lot of guys have to adjust their swings that are not used to being able to cover the whole quadrant of the strike zone. This kid covers the strike zone. So I see you up there, Mr. Mayo. I like this guy a lot, obviously. What are your thoughts on where he's at, and what do you think of him?
It's shocking you like a middle infielder who can hit, Harold, but
yeah.
You know, I think you nailed it. He can really hit advanced approach. There was the questions about altitude. That's where the Cape Cod stuff comes into play. Yes, small sample size, but he impacted the baseball with wood in his hands. That's not a problem. I don't know that he plays shortstop long term, but even if he's over at second base, he'll be above average at second, and he's just going to mash and put up numbers. And one of those advanced college bats, that will get to the big leagues in a hurry.
Jonathan Mayo, thank you for the latest on Nick Gonzales, a kid that walked on to the New Mexico State team. Didn't have a scholarship. He walked on. And now here he is drafted tonight in the first round by the Pittsburgh Pirates. I want to bring in a guy that went number 5 overall to the Toronto Blue Jays, Austin Martin. And Austin, before I congratulate you, let me bring in your skipper, your college coach, Tim Corbin. What would you like to say to your former player?
Well, first off, I wish I was there with him, but congratulations, Marty. Congratulations to you, and congratulations to Daisy and Chris and your entire family. I know you're extremely happy.
Thank you, Coach. I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for me, for giving me this opportunity, you know, go to Vanderbilt and just allow me to get to this position, Coach. I really appreciate you.
My pleasure. Listen, in terms of where you are, I know there's a lot of emotion going on, but when your name was finally read, what were the feelings going through your mind and going through your body?
I can't even explain. I think, I mean, once I heard my name selected, I think I went completely numb for a little bit. It's just, it's surreal now. I mean, everything you work for since you're a kid is, you know, coming into place and coming into fold. So I'm excited. I'm grateful that Toronto has given me this opportunity, and I'm excited.
Hey, Austin, it's Harold here. Congratulations, man. We're seeing them put Martin on the Blue Jay uniform. They got a lot of young talent in that organization, and they're on their way. Shortstop. You know, I talked to you about third and second in the outfield. How about short?
I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever they want to throw at me. And I mean, if that's how they feel is the best position to help us win ball games, and I'm ready to do it.
What do you think of the Toronto Blue Jays organization?
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I've heard a lot of things from my former teammate, Philip Clark, who is there now with their minor league organization. And what a lot of people don't know is that I'm a former teammate of Bo Bichette when we were younger. So, I mean, it'll be cool to, get up there and be able to play with him again.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, let me tell you something. I'm excited. BGO, Guerrero, Martin, Bichette, you guys stacked. That's stacked right there. Austin Martin, congratulations once again, man.
Excited.
Congratulations on a big night.
Thank you, guys, man. I appreciate you. Have a good
All
night.
right, there you have
Some of the
fifth
greatest
overall
talents
pick.
in baseball play out west. The Padres, Rockies, and Angels look to add some more Western stars as the draft moves along. The 2020 MLB Draft is presented by T-Mobile. With the only nationwide 5G network, MLB clubs and their draft picks are covered with 5G in more places. T-Mobile for Business is ready to power business of all sizes.
Class of 2020, what's up, guys? It's Hodge. I want to wish you guys the best of luck and congratulate you guys on being drafted. I know 2020 has been a different year. I know you guys have had a lot of stuff taken away from you, but this doesn't shortchange this moment at all for you guys. I really want you guys to enjoy this. Congratulations. Enjoy this day with your friends, your family, and be ready to go to work, boys.
How cool is that? Eric Hosmer, one of the faces of the San Diego Padres. A.J. Preller, front office leader of the Friars, a team that has a ton of young talent. I mean, Fernando Tatis Jr. might be the best young player in the sport right now. Who will they add to their cupboard? They're up next at number 8. Commissioner Rob Manfred has got the pick in, and let's go to him now for the breaking news.
With the 8th pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the San Diego Padres select Robert Hassell III, an outfielder from Independence High School, Thompson Station, Tennessee. The Colorado Rockies have the next pick.
He's a player who MLB.com calls the best pure hitter of any high schooler in this 2020 draft. Really impressed scouts during last summer's showcase, and here he is going number 8 overall to the San Diego Padres. But before he got drafted, he was standing in our MLB Draft spotlight.
Robert Hassell, Franklin, Tennessee.
Who do you model your game after?
Christian Yelich, kind of have the same long, lanky frame as him, plays outfield, and he's a humble dude, all around great guy.
What makes baseball special?
It's always the next man up. I mean, it's all you when you're up there up to bat or on the mound or something, but you got a whole team behind you. I'm Robert Hassell. Now it's my day to shine.
Lean, athletic outfielder, 6'2", 190, very, very handsy. As you can see, handsy swing, great rhythm in the box. I believe he can stay in center field. Solid average runner, plus arm. Guy can just flat out hit. I had a taller version of Benintendi. That's kind of the number I put, the comp I put on him. I think he's that kind of hitting ability. He's going to have to put on some strength, and I do think the body can hold it. But, if the power's going to come, he's going to have to put on some strength on that body.
Yeah, during the 18 and under World Cup in South Korea, this kid hit well over 500, and scouts have really loved his hit ability. Power is still a question, right? Some people don't know if he's going to be a 25-homer guy.
I'm a big hitters like this usually hit for power. They get stronger. They learn how to sit in counts. They learn their swing a little bit better. But this guy's an elite hitter.
I think we make a big mistake with high school guys and say, where's the power?
I agree.
You grow, you mature, you figure out what pitches I can hit out of the park. That all comes. But the thing I like about this kid, it's the same swing we saw in Little League that you see now. Mm-hmm. You haven't had to tinker with it. And if he continues to flow like this, that's how good hitters become great, I should say.
Yeah.
By a consistent swing all the way through.
Well, Robert Hassell III, a big night for him, joined by family and friends. Let's check in on him with our T-Mobile Draft Cam. Capturing the moment he puts that San Diego Padre cap on. Many believed he was going to put a Vanderbilt cap on. Tim Corbin, the Vandy head coach, knew that was probably a slim possibility because of this kid's immense talent. But as a kid that you know well, you recruited, tell us more about Hassell.
Well, first off, congratulations to Robert and Jane and his family, and certainly Independence High School. But in terms of Robert, when I was at Clemson and was working with Jack Leggett, we recruited a kid named Nick Markakis, and I think there's a lot of similarities. Robert is the type of kid that if he wasn't hitting, he would find himself in this draft as a pitcher as well. But I think when you look at Robert and the tools and what he can do that Dan mentioned, he's a performer. From Williamsport, Pennsylvania to Taiwan, every level this kid has excelled, and excelled with a lot of team responsibility, but he can really hit. The power is going to come, like Harold mentioned, because he can get to the middle of the ball. And he's just a good athlete. Whether it's center field or right field, he's going to find his way because the bat's going to play.
Yeah, Tim, makes a lot of sense for the San Diego Padres to go with a high school talent like this. Most selections before a first high school pick in a single draft. Dan, you alluded to this. The eighth pick, we finally see a high school player taken. You wonder for the sign of the times.
Well, it makes sense for the type of year we're in and the collection of information, the incomplete data that we've talked about. So it does make sense that you would lean yourself more towards college selection.
But a talented player nonetheless. Robert Hassell III going to the San Diego Padres. Up next, the Colorado Rockies at 9. We'll find out which young player is going to the Rocks. Let's go back to the podium to find out.
With the 9th pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the Colorado Rockies select Zac Veen, an outfielder from Spruce Creek High School, Port Orange, Florida.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Frosk. I'm from Long Beach, California, and I work as a firefighter in the city of Los Angeles. And I've been helping out the community during the COVID-19 pandemic. And my Angels are on the clock. Let's go, baby.
Thank you so much. Zac Veen, he jumped onto the map last summer during the showcase circuit, considered the most consistent player on display. And yeah, he's fired up. He's like, Coors Field someday, folks. Imagine my bat at Coors Field. This kid is just really super talented. And Jonathan Mayo, Harold made a really good point earlier. If he could have had a high school baseball season, because of the tools, the physical talent jumps off the screen, who knows, he could have been in the mix for number 1.
Yeah, he could have definitely moved up, but he was actually one of the guys who played a bit in the spring and really took another step forward, and I think that helped move him into a solid top 10 range. I don't care, Coors Field, any park, Yellowstone, he's gonna hit anywhere. It really doesn't matter. It's just a really good left-handed swing. You can see how tall he is. He already knows how to leverage the baseball. There's going to be more power to come. I think he probably ends up in right field, but he'd be a really athletic right fielder. You can put him in center if you really wanted to, until he gets pushed over to that corner. But it's that bat that's really exciting. It's an athletic package. That's why you hear the Cody Bellinger, the Christian Yelich type comps, the tall, gangly high schoolers who ended up growing into a lot more power than people expected.
Jonathan, we're going to do this again with this kid because he's so impressive. I want to take people back and just look at his breakdown. But 6'4", 190 pounds. He's even a little bit more weight now as you get a chance to see him. But this is what, Greg, I talked about earlier. I just love how you look at how much the body changes with these high school guys. And I thought Dan O'Dowd made a tremendous point that from 17 to 18, that's probably your most biggest physical time. But a lot of folks have been talking about Cody Bellinger. Here's a look at Cody Bellinger in high school. And does he not look like Zac Veen?
Totally.
I mean, similar swing. And I asked him earlier who were some of the players he emulated and thought about. Cody was one. But I think this kid is really thinking big time. He's one of these guys that would walk away with the Ted Williams quote, if I want to be the best player remembered, best hitter of all time. He's going to Colorado. I mean, for a hitter, if I got drafted on draft day and I'm 6'4", over 200 pounds, and I'm thinking about hitting home runs, I'm dancing. Oh, my goodness.
He kind of was.
Colorado? That's a tremendous pick for a high school player to dream of going to the big leagues in.
The one thing we don't talk about enough, he's going to put up some points in that place.
He is.
Is that he's got great instincts on the bases. I mean, to me, he's going to be an above-average right fielder with great instincts on the bases. I mean, I think there's even going to be a better hit tool in there once he figures out how to shorten up a little bit in two-strike situations. But, I mean, I really like this kid. It's got some Larry Walker in him. The one thing Zac's going to have to do, he's going to have to learn to embrace mentally the grind of the game, like all high school players. To really maximize all the gifts that he has, he's going to really have to embrace that not every day that you show up on the field, you're going to feel 100%.
4 of their top 5 prospects in the Rockies farm system are position players. And we've talked a lot about the struggles of finding pitching for the Rockies. Is this just best available player that you
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You make mistakes in a draft room when you go need. You take the best players on the board. That always works out.
Okay. So don't read into that at all.
Okay.
Don't read into that, Greg.
No, get the best.
That makes sense.
The other thing about this draft, I mean, we talked about it earlier. I really think you got 5 picks, man. You're picking a starting 5. I don't know if there's a LeBron James out there. You got to build a strong unit here, and you take the best players on the board.
Well, if we spin it to the next pick at number 10, the Angels, their top 5 prospects are all position players. So to the fan at home going, oh, well, they're going to draft a pitcher, you're saying don't think that way at all. The best available player.
Well, they may. You asked me. I would not think that way.
You would not think
it's
that way.
best player available. But can't predict the future, Greg. You're trying to predict the future all the time.
No, I understand.
Hard game.
I understand.
Hard game to predict the future.
Billy Epler, he's working things out right now. But at some point, you have to make a decision and go, pitching is a necessity. The Angels are a great example of that.
Yeah.
Pitching is a necessity.
But you're not taking a kid today that's going to pitch in the big leagues tomorrow.
No, I understand that. So, but who knows? If it's a college arm, maybe 2 years.
If there's an arm out there right now, they want to go pitcher, I'm going Mick Abel. I'm sorry, it's a perfect fit for this.
Yeah, I like Detmer right here.
Oh, this is a fun game. I think Detmer would be my pick, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
All right. You want to find out who they're taking?
We're about to find out.
Back to the commissioner we go.
With the 10th pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the Los Angeles Angels select Reid Detmers, a left-handed pitcher from the University of Louisville. The Chicago White Sox have the next pick.
I promise you, folks, we did not know that's who they were taking.
I was just going to say, like I said, Detmers.
I promise you. Reid Detmers, you're looking at the most polished left-handed pitcher in this draft class. Broke onto the scene, great sophomore season. Led Louisville to the 2019 College World Series, had a 2.78 ERA, 113 innings, set the program's single-season record with 13 wins and 167 strikeouts. And Reid Detmers finding out in the comfy chairs with his family and his friends, drafted 10th overall to the Angels. Now, we were saying, wait, if there's a kid out there that could get to the big leagues in 2 years to help the Angels, Al Leiter, you know more about the pitching than I do. Does Reid Detmers fit the bill for you?
Next year. I love this pick. But before I go to my breakdown, I want to read this. You talk about old school. This is from Reid Detmers, something he posted. I'm not trying to light up radar guns out there. All I'm trying to do is locate all of my pitches. That's who Reid Detmers is. He wins. He's been there for 3 years at Louisville. Well, 2 years in this year. And what has he done? 20-6 in 30 games start, 191 innings and 284 strikeouts. Somewhere you reward that. Let's go to a breakdown here. And I'm going to say right now, yes, he's not going to light up the radar guns. But guess what, folks? If you want to throw as hard as you can, yeah, you can get an upticker too. He's got command of an aggressive fastball. What I like about him is that he uses his fastball to get to his off speed, but he will stand guys up. I showed the changeup, and now here's the curveball. This is a separator for me. It's a low 70-mile-an-hour breaking ball. When you have that speed variation, it is really tough to stay back and then also look for the curveball. But look at here. This is a real good game here. He's late in the game in 6th inning, 1-0 lead. First pitch, a little fade, change up away, fade. Curveball at 73, fastball up and away. Didn't get it inside, but you see my point. 80, 73, and 90, right? So he's got different variation and different looks. And this little cheese ball by him at 91. He's got guts. He gets after it. He wins. And I love the fact that he competes. This is a great pick by Billy Epler and the Angels. His last 4 picks, Billy Epler, have all been everyday players, and their top 5 prospects, as you alluded to, Greg, are all everyday players. Reid Detmers could be in the big leagues next year.
I love that prediction.
I like it, too. You know, the other thing you look at, too, Greg, sometimes is the track record. Louisville had McKay get to the big leagues quick, right? And so Dan McDonald understands that. He coached the USA Baseball. Here's Detmers, another guy who understands and has seen it happen with one of his teammates. He could get there awful quick. Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Dallas Keuchel.
Carlos Collazo, a lot of people dropped the Brendan McKay comparison because they went to the same school. They're both left-handed. Is there another southpaw he reminds you of?
Yeah, I think Drew Pomeranz is another one that's interesting. He's been a guy who's successful with maybe not the most explosive fastball, but a really good curveball. And like you guys were all talking about, he doesn't need explosive, pure stuff. He's just such an advanced pitcher. I do think he's going to move quickly. I just don't think there are any real holes in his game. He knows what he's doing on the mound, and he comes right after hitters. He's a bulldog.
Yeah, best control in this class. All of you guys have been saying it. I love what he said to Al Leiter. This is Robert Hassell moments ago, putting the cap on of the San Diego Padres. Robert Hassell III in that location, joining us live on MLB Network. Robert, congratulations, man, first and foremost. And your emotions on a day where you found out you're a top 10 pick, first high schooler off the board to the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely exciting. It was nerve-wracking at first, but I'm excited now. And, I'm looking forward to getting to work and, hard work pays off, so this is what I've been working for, this moment right here. So it's definitely, something to be excited about.
Hey, Robert, it's Harold here. We talked about this last summer up at IMG Academy. Here you are, picked in the first round. I'm curious, how much physically have you grown since last July when I saw you to now? You look so much bigger already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I got to work and lost a little bit of weight there before PDP, and I got to work. Gained some weight, some good weight, good muscle weight. Been eating pretty good, lifting heavier. So, and that all that kind of stuff helps me with my on the field stuff, hitting, and I've gotten good and strong for that.
You're looking good in the burnt brown, man.
Yeah, he does, no doubt. There's a lot of good hair already on that team, by the way, just so you know. Hosmer, Tatis, Machado. I know you're years away, but you got the flow going too, man. You're going to fit right in that department, all right?
I do. Yes, sir. I might have to grow it out a little longer now.
There you go. Robert Hassell III, congratulations being drafted tonight by the San Diego Padres. We've seen so many guys react to one of the biggest moments in their lives. That's Zac Veen, a high school outfielder being drafted by the Colorado Rockies with the 9th pick. And we just saw Reid Detmers find out that he is going to be an LA Angel.